Imagine this. A child is born into a world filled with political chaos and danger. An empire is placed in his hands, and he is only 13 years old. This child would not only change India, but rewrite entire history books. Who is he? He is Akbar the Great, a rare leader in history, a symbol of tolerance and strength. If you're ready, let's begin his story. Fact 1. A child born into fear and solitude. Akbar's difficult childhood. Imagine this. In 1542, a baby was born in a fortress in the Sindh region of India. He was not born in a palace, but in a castle under siege. His mother gave birth to him in secret because his father Humayun had been dethroned and was living in exile at the time. As a child, Akbar lived a life of constant movement, hiding, fear, and uncertainty. His early years were filled with danger, political chaos, and family turmoil. He never grew up like a typical prince. From a young age, he was forced to live in exile with his father, wandering deserts and traveling through war zones. These hardships shaped his character. Perhaps it was because of this that he grew up to become the strongest yet most tolerant ruler all of India had ever known. Fact 2. Ascended the throne at a young age, became emperor at 13. After his father's death, Akbar was declared the emperor of the Great Mughal Empire before he even turned 13. At that time, the empire was on the verge of collapse. Civil wars, rebellions, and external threats were everywhere. For a child, this was no ordinary throne. It was a seat surrounded by flames. But Akbar was not alone. By his side was Bayram Khan, a trusted general and advisor of his father. In the early years, Bayram Khan made most of the political and military decisions, but Akbar watched carefully, learned, and grew. He was neither a fearful nor a puppet emperor. On the contrary, as a teenager, he began to show his own will. Before long, Bayram Khan stepped aside, and Akbar took full control of power. A child sat on the throne, but that child would soon become a true emperor. Fact 3. He couldn't read or write, but was extremely intelligent. Akbar never learned to read or write throughout his life. Yes, the emperor known today as the Great was illiterate, but this was not a weakness. Rather, it highlighted his extraordinary memory and remarkable intelligence. He never forgot what he saw. He memorized word for word the speeches of scholars, philosophers, artists, musicians, and even his enemies who came to his court. Akbar listened, observed, compared, and made very quick decisions. He had others read thousands of pages of documents and then discuss their essence to fully understand them. His mind was so powerful that even the educated advisors around him were often outmatched. His depth in politics, psychological insight, and diplomatic maneuvers surpassed many literate rulers by far. Akbar proved one thing: being illiterate does not mean being ignorant. If your mind is open, the world will open to you like a book. Thanks to this trait, he introduced incredible innovations in religious tolerance, cultural policies, and administrative reforms. Even if he didn't write them himself, history has engraved his name in golden letters. Fact 4. United India, from a fragmented land to an empire. When Akbar ascended the throne, India was divided into many principalities and kingdoms. Different languages, religions, cultures, and hostilities were intertwined. Each region had its own ruler, and most of these rulers were at war with each other. India was closer to division than unity. But young Akbar, only 13 years old when he became emperor, saw this chaos and dreamed of something greater: a united and strong India. Through military campaigns, he united the Rajput kingdoms, Gujarat, Bengal, Kashmir, and the Deccan regions. But not only by the sword, also through politics. He brought some rulers into his empire through marriage alliances, others through pardons and friendships. Most importantly, Akbar did not impose force on the lands he conquered. He respected their religions, customs, and languages. Instead of saying, "This land is now ours," and he said, "We are now part of this land." Thus, he accepted diversity as a strength and united India like a mosaic made of many pillars. Fact 5. Attempted to create a new religion called Din-e-Ilahi. In India, where many religions coexisted, Akbar aimed to establish peace and unity among them. He studied the core beliefs of Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and other faiths, and sought to create a new religious philosophical system that would unite all religions. He named this idea Dini Ilahi, divine faith. Dini Ilahi combined the best qualities of every religion, emphasized compassion and humanity over violence, focused more on people's behavior and morals than on religious rituals. Akbar himself became the greatest promoter of this faith and invited his advisors to follow this path. Although Dini Ilahi was not widely accepted by the masses, it became a symbol of Akbar's policy of religious tolerance and peace. He wanted to reduce conflicts between different beliefs and strengthen coexistence. Fact 6. Established a fair tax system. Akbar created a fair tax system to lessen the burden on farmers. He set just taxes based on land productivity and banned forced tax collections. This system strengthened agriculture, increased people's trust in their ruler, and laid the foundation for stability in the empire. Akbar's tax policies had a lasting impact on India's economic development for many years. Fact 7. A peaceful and wise diplomat. Akbar valued military strength, but he deeply believed in the power of diplomacy and peace. For him, war was a last resort. His main goal was to create peace and unity. In his policies, Akbar negotiated with various rulers, building friendships and alliances, and sometimes arranged marriage alliances for mutual benefit. For example, his political marriages with Hindu kingdoms strengthened his empire and turned rivals into allies. His diplomacy went beyond politics. Akbar also worked to prevent conflicts through religious tolerance. He engaged in dialogues with people of different faiths, respected their beliefs, and promoted coexistence. Thanks to this wise approach, despite many religious and cultural differences, the empire enjoyed relative peace and stability. Even his enemies admired his intelligent and wise diplomacy, often choosing to resolve conflicts through talks rather than violence. 8. Patron of arts and culture. Akbar was a great lover of culture and the arts. His court was filled with musicians, painters, poets, and scholars. He gave strong support to art and science, and the works created during his reign remain famous to this day. Under Akbar's rule, India experienced a brilliant flourishing of arts and culture, which remains one of his greatest legacies. He commissioned the construction of Fatehpur Sikri, one of the most magnificent palace complexes of his era. The art and architecture of this city beautifully reflected a fusion of Hindu and Islamic styles, symbolizing the unity Akbar sought to foster. He also established the famed Navaratnas, or 9 Gems, a council of extraordinary minds that included the legendary musician Tansen, the witty scholar Birbal, and several others. These individuals represented the intellectual brilliance of his court. Akbar wasn't just a conqueror with a sword. He was a visionary who wrote history with a pen, bridging cultures, and leaving behind a legacy of tolerance, knowledge, and beauty. Fact 9. Akbar's marriages and children, a blend of politics and family. Akbar's personal life was as strategic and fascinating as his politics. He married multiple times, often for political alliances, choosing wives from various religions and ethnicities. These marriages helped him create stability across the diverse regions of his empire. His most famous wife was Jodha Bai, a Hindu princess. Their marriage was not just personal, it was a symbolic step toward religious and political unity. Akbar had several children with Jodha Bai, the most notable being Shah Jahan, who would later become the emperor known for building the iconic Taj Mahal. In total, Akbar had over 40 wives and more than 15 children. His large family represented the political alliances formed with different regions. Among his children, the most significant was his heir and future leader of the empire, Shah Jahan. Fact 10. Death and the title of the Great. From emperor to legend. Akbar the Great passed away in 1605 at the age of 63. His death marked a profound loss for the Mughal Empire, but the strong, just, and inclusive system he built continued to thrive for years. He handed the empire to his trusted son, Shah Jahan, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations to come. The title the Great wasn't merely about conquests. It reflected Akbar's unmatched efforts to create religious harmony, promote culture, and rule with justice. With his death, Akbar didn't disappear from history, he became a legend. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed learning about Akbar the Great, Don't forget to hit the like button. Share your thoughts and tell us your favorite historical figure in the comments. We love hearing from you. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next episode.